the ultimate tech stack for your real estate investing VA. You guys know I believe in the power of leveraging a virtual assistant to help in your real estate investing business. And having the right tech stack in place really helps make this as efficient and effective as possible. So today I'm going to share all my insights, all my lessons learned from years of working with a virtual assistant and kind of lessons learned the hard way, right? Things that I didn't do right. And I'm going to save you all the trouble, show you the tools that I use, which is going to save you a ton of time, energy, and money by just telling you straight what tools you need to use now in your business. And whether you're just starting up or you're scaling your real estate investing operation, this is your roadmap to have a simpler, more productive setup for you and for your VA. Before we dive in, make sure you grab my free guide, The Freedom Blueprint for Real Estate Investors, over on my website, adriennegreen.com. This lists my top 10 most important systems and tools that you need to have in place to run your business easily so you get that time and financial freedom that you want. Okay, let's dive into why does a tech stack matter and what does it really mean? So a tech stack is the technology tools and systems that you use in place to run your business. It's maybe a project management system, an email system, where are you saving your documents, what are you using for your phone, all the technology that you use to support the people in your business. That's your tech stack. And a lot of times people don't put a lot of thought into it and they get things willy-nilly. And I will say I'm the opposite. I've learned the hard way to really evaluate carefully before I put something in my tech stack, because I have felt the pain of making a wrong choice and having to switch again, because switching tech options is not easy. So that's where I would like to come in here and say, guys, if you're getting started or you're making a decision on any of these tech tools, let me tell you what's worked well for me and why, so that you don't have to go through that pain of figuring out all the evaluations, of testing out things, of starting an account and then canceling it, right? Of all of those missteps that I had to do. So let's get into what you should use and why. So here are the key tech tools to have success with a virtual assistant on your business. The first essential that I want you to start with is Google Workspace. And there are several reasons why I'd say when you're bringing on someone to your business, start with a Google Workspace. It's super secure. What I love about Google Workspace is when you create it, it's really secure. You set it up, you are the admin, and you can add people to be in your workspace. This is like the equivalent of a computer network that you would have if you worked for a big company, right? Oh, wow. If you've ever worked for a big company, you know, you get started there, you get a login, you get an email, you get access to the shared network drives, things like that. Google Workspace is that for entrepreneurs. And so it's a very affordable, easy way to get a really robust system equivalent to what you would have at a big company. So you set up a Google Workspace account where you are the admin, and then you can add users. I think it's really easy to add users, even for somebody not super tech savvy as like me. And the great thing about Google Workspace is if you don't know how to do anything, you Google it. How do I add a user in Google Workspace? How do I shut down a user in Google Workspace? Things like that. And the answer will be there because it's a Google product and system. So what you can do is create a user. Let's say you bring on a new admin. We're going to call this new admin Maria. All right. So you can set up an email, maria@myamazingrealestateinvestingbusiness.com, right? Now you would have to have that URL separately. You know, you got to have a website, or worst case, you say ultimate REIVA Maria@gmail.com. You can also do something like that, but because you're creating that account within your Google Workspace, you're controlling it. So then in your system, you've got also Google Drive, and you're going to save all of your files in Google Drive. Those are going to be your network drives. Those are going to be where all of your business systems, processes, resources are saved. And the great thing with Google Workspace is if you and Maria part ways later, it's really easy in Google Workspace to just shut down Maria, her account, and then she can't access everything.
Wow. Well, that was easy.
You don't need to go through and worry about her being able to access things later, because if everything was controlled well within Google Drive and you were just giving access to Maria, then since you control the email, when you shut that down, you shut down that access. The other nice thing about using Google Workspace and setting up emails that way is that you control those emails. So you can very easily have them forwarded to you or to someone else in your business after you and Maria part ways. You can also have the ability to go in and see them. Same thing if Maria, typically every user has their own personal Google Drive or Drive folder within your Google Workspace Google Drive. And again, if you part ways, you're able to access everything that they had in there. Nothing is lost or behind a curtain because it's in your business and it's in your business's workspace. So you can access all of those things, which really helps if you and anyone on your team do part ways in the future. You aren't losing any of that connectivity, right? If Maria was waiting on a really important email, you can go change that setting so it's forwarded to you, everything like that. So Google Workspace is really set apart primarily for me because of its ease of use and its security. Very, very easy to keep everything secure, just as you would with a huge corporation using Google Workspace. Now, once you have that Google Workspace set up and you've got those emails, the next thing is creating a project management system. This is your one place where all of your tasks, projects, everything is going to be controlled. There are multiple avenues out there. Having started with some other ones, I now am a cheerleader for Monday.com. It is my preference. And if this video is helpful and you decide to go ahead with Monday.com, use the affiliate link in the description below, please. I'm not getting anything for making this. So you using the affiliate link gives me a little bit of benefit for helping you with this. So what I love about Monday.com is that it's really robust and you can use it for anything. So in the real estate investing space, you can use it if you're doing hard money lending, if you are managing properties, if you are focusing on flipping, no matter what you're doing in the real estate investing space, or if you're like a lot of real estate investors and you do more than one thing, you can make what's called a board in Monday.com and tailor it to that specific use. So that's what I love, is that it's one project management system you can use for any kind of real estate investing endeavor. And the other things I like is that it's really easy to track communication and like a history in Monday.com. So if you had a task in the past and it's 6 months later and you're like, well, what did we do with that? Or I actually just had this come up where we were wondering, hey, something happened last summer. Where did we end up with the procedures for that? Or what ended up happening with that task? And you can really easily search in Monday, pull up that old task, and you have all your notes, all the files, all the links are all with that task. So it's a whole lot easier even than finding stuff in Gmail if you were using email as your method for project management. I prefer the search and finding things in Monday even versus Gmail. And then the other thing with Monday is that you can do repeat tasks. So a lot of our world in real estate investing is things that happen again and again and again, right? Like maybe you have properties and every month you do a certain type of accounting for them, or your VA does a certain type of accounting for them. One of the things I love in Monday is the ability to really easily create these tasks that automatically recur. So when you mark the November task done, or your VA marks the November task done, it automatically creates a new monthly task for December with the same details, the same initial instructions, just not all your notes that were specific to November, right? It just creates the same basic task for you to redo. And this can be done at any time interval, daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, semi-annually, annually, whatever time interval you want. You can set up these automations to occur, which has really helped, especially with using VAs, to say, okay, this is your task list. This is what you do. This is your interval at which you do it. And now we're going to make all of these in Monday so you're automatically reminded. So you put updates. It has the deadlines, it has everything you need, priority, all in there. So it's really robust for tasking another person. So I love that. And then the third basic tool, so you've got your Google Workspace that is your email, your resources, your drives. Then you've got your project management system, Monday.com, where you're doing your tasking, your interaction. And then third, how are you going to be face-to-face? The online meetings and that aspect of communication is really something you need, right? Because if you're working virtually, if you're not in the same office and you're not crossing paths already, we need to be intentional about creating a space where we can be face-to-face, because face-to-face communication is important. So if you're using Google Workspace, Google Meet is a part of Google Workspace and works really well. It's really easy to create calendar events on Google Calendar, automatically include Google Meet, where there's just going to be a button, and when the calendar event pops up, you click on the Google Meet button and you're in the Google Meet face-to-face video space. You can also easily record those if you have a Google Workspace account, so it really provides everything you need. If you don't have that, then Zoom would be an option. Of course, Microsoft Teams, for those people who are in the Microsoft world, is another option as well. Slack also has, in addition to the text, aspect, Slack also makes it really easy to pop into a room and do face-to-face as well. So whatever you choose, just make sure you have something chosen so that is really easy for you from day one with your VA to pop into those online meetings that are so, so valuable. Now that you have your three most important aspects handled, wild. What are some practical tips as you set this up and go through this? And first, and I learned this the hard way, as you're setting up these accounts and systems, make sure that you are setting up these accounts and systems so that you are the admin, control, and access. My lesson learned in that is that I had a virtual assistant who was our director of operations set up our Google business page. And when she eventually left the company, our Google business page disappeared. I believe because even though I could access and change things on it, she was still set as the underlying admin or controller of this Google business page. And Google was not able to help me recover our information or anything like that. So we had to start our Google business page from scratch. We lost all of our reviews. It really bummed me out for a while. So learn from me and make sure that you are the one setting up all of these initial accounts so that you maintain admin control and access. Once you set them up, if your business is continuing to grow, you have several people on your team, you can have an admin who's the one who will continue to add and delete people or do things like that. And yet, at the end of the day, you want to be the initial creator of the system and the account to start with. Second, when you start with Google Drive, I want you to think about your structure for file organization, right? Create a system where you've got your core folders and what is it going to look like under there, because it's easier to be intentional and set up a nice system from the beginning than to try and clean it up later when you have all these files with no system or rhyme or reason to them. So while it's probably not going to be perfect and you're probably going to adapt it along the way based on how your business evolves, it is still better to at least think about and start with a structure for your Google Drive file organization, your folder organization to start. It's going to be a lot easier, even if you have to evolve it along the way. And then my third tip, especially if you're like, oh my goodness, I'm so overwhelmed right now, this is a ton. Keep it simple at the start and realize how you eat an elephant, one bite at a time, and you will get there. Choose one tool at a time, get it set up. Get comfortable with it. Then move on to your next tool and also only add complexity as needed. And that's part of why I like those 3 basic systems that I talked about, considering your Google Workspace, Monday.com for project management, and then making sure you have something you love for online meetings. I like Google Workspace and I like Monday.com because they provide so much within one system that you don't need to add complexity with a lot of little tech tools that only do one thing. They are so robust that they do a lot for you. So you're getting a lot of bang for your buck with one tech tool. So that's kind of what I'd say is like, think about that. Think about how you can get one tool that does a lot so that you're not adding complexity of a million different tech tools. So I hope this was helpful, guys. A tech stack doesn't have to be overwhelming. It's really one of those things where you spend a little bit of time and energy up front to make intentional choices, and it saves you a lot of time and energy from cleaning up a mess later on. So start with a few tools that we talked about here, organize them well, and you have the foundation for a smooth and effective workflow with your virtual assistant so they can really help you a ton and get you the time and financial freedom that you're going for. Now, remember, tech is one part of an equation. So if you want to see all 10 key foundation pieces that I think really have helped me get time and financial freedom with my real estate investing portfolio, head on over to adriennegreen.com and download the Freedom Blueprint today. And then make sure to tune in next week where we can talk about more tips and tricks for your real estate investing portfolio.